I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Guys, welcome back. Oops, the podcast. Giulio Gallerati, joined by my trusty sidekick and confidant, Ryan, his very muscular Lynch. We're joined by a very special guest, hilarious comedian, actor, and person who I'm very interested in. So I'm glad she's here to do the show today. But give it up for Sienna Hubert-Ross.
Hello.
And, what's happening? How are you?
Not me like looking right into the camera.
You can do whatever you want.
Self-tape. I'm like, hi guys.
Look at me, look at the camera, look at Lynch here.
Hi guys. Hi Lynch. Hi Leo.
What's happening?
You know, just trying my best to stay alive and save money. I'm trying to be better with money.
You're trying to be better with money?
Yeah.
You have previously not been good with money.
I've always been really stingy because I grew up poor. But then I started to like make some money, and then I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And then I'd be like, let me buy myself something nice, and then I'd feel gross after. So I don't really know the balance.
Well, I think that's natural. I think the first time you get your first cash windfall in life, if everything wasn't just readily available to you, the first time you have that.
What the fuck do I do?
You have that job, and for me, I remember the first time I had some disposable income. Was in college. I was a tennis instructor, and I would teach in the Hamptons, and I made some money, and I bought a bunch of sneakers, and I spent all my money on bottle service that summer going out.
Wow.
And I thought it was so cool. I could tell my friends from home. Guess who? I was standing right next to Wilmer Valderrama.
Uh-huh.
I saw him.
Wait, why does that name sound familiar?
Exactly.
Who is that?
He's from That 70s Show.
Oh, the pedophile? Sorry, I can't.
No. That's Danny Masterson.
But the one that dated Demi Lovato, she has another song about him being
Is that Wilmer?
a
Oh,
groomer.
Wilmer also is abusive.
Yeah. She's at
upsetting.
finally 29 because
There
she started
it is.
dating when she was 17. Yeah.
Well,
That's
Wilmer,
pretty sick.
sorry, we didn't mean to have strays for you here. I was using you as an example. But anyway, okay, so you have now made those mistakes, and you're trying to be better with money. You told me previously that you were going on vacation to Granada. Can you afford it?
No, but my boyfriend can.
Ah, excellent. So
But-
he's paying.
Yeah, he is. But it's cute. Like, I'm obviously very appreciative of the, I'll buy like some drinks at some point for sure.
Right. You'll dig into the bag.
I'll dig into the bag. I'll be like, oh, like, what do I have? A card? That? Oh my God, sure. I'll use it once. No, but like, I don't like normally, I'm not like going on vacation like every month. It's more just like, oh my, this is so cute. Like, let's go away.
Well, you don't have to explain yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just curious
Why
if
am I
you're
getting
being.
defensive? No. But I would say like, I could
Pause for
afford-
1 second. Should she talk more into the mic?
You're
She's fine.
perfect.
Sorry.
I'm perfect.
Just wanted to make
Oh
sure.
my
It
God,
gives me
no.
anxiety. Continue. Sorry.
Oh my God, no. I've had episodes like that with my podcast where someone's like this and we can't use any of the footage.
Oh,
and it
God.
costs like $500 to do an episode.
Oh my God.
That sounds like a
Jesus.
nice-
It's a nightmare because it's like all out of pocket. The vacations. Oh yeah, no, I'm excited. I think that I mean, if you have like a partner that's like wants to do that, then like whatever.
How long are you going for?
A week.
That's a good time.
Yeah, but I haven't gone on vacation in like forever. And then I also am like working every weekend. So
When are you going on vacation?
July 10th through the 11th through the 16th. Oh, 10th through the 16th.
Wonderful.
It's going to be perfect. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be getting away, not thinking about comedy at all. Because sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, like guys have so much time. But like eventually I'm going to be like old and ugly. No one's going to want to take me on vacation,
That's very true.
you know?
Now that everybody listens to the cold open, they know when you won't be home.
Yeah, they know exactly. And they know exactly where I listen to.
They know
where
when to
I live
break
next
in.
to.
Well, no, look, you seem like you've been doing very well for yourself, and without a doubt, we all deserve vacation, but you as well deserve it.
Thank you.
Yes. So I've always tried to sort of put the pieces together about you.
Yeah.
And so I just have some preliminary questions
Mm-hmm.
about you. First of all, where'd you grow up?
Boston,
Okay, interesting. What part?
Cambridge,
Okay.
like where Harvard, MIT are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you lived there your whole childhood?
I lived there until I was 17, then I moved to New York.
Okay.
And I lived in like Coney Island area. I like saved up money. I was like, fuck it. I was like a model back then, and I was just like working. I didn't really want to do it. It wasn't like I wanted to do comedy and what I'm kind of doing now, but that was like my way into New York.
You always wanted to do comedy secretly. Interesting.
I just didn't really. I grew up watching like Cat Williams and a lot of male comics. I didn't think women were funny when I was younger, except for like a Kristen Wiig. But I was like, that's not quite what I want to do, like sketch. So
Okay.
you know what I mean?
So were you a child model?
I wasn't. I was like 16, and I had that weird story where someone like saw me on the street walking.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I was like broke and wanted to leave Boston, and she was like, "Oh, I can get you signed in New York," and then she did, and then I was like, "Okay."
Sick.
Yeah.
That's one of the few jobs where like that actually happens.
Yeah.
Because literally like it's like a combine. Going out in the world is like the combine. You can see people's stats.
Yeah.
Here's this girl, she's tall, she's skinny, she
Yeah.
has a unique look or whatever. I'm going to make you a star, kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You were truly discovered.
Yeah, I was like, so I always knew I wanted to act and do comedy and all that stuff. And then I was in Boston. I was trying to graduate high school early, and then it randomly kind of like happened. And then she was like a mother agent, and a mother agent is kind of like a manager for models in the sense like they'll be like based out of smaller markets, but they'll find girls for like bigger markets like New York and Milan or whatnot. And so she was based out of like Philly, and then she like made me do the rounds in like New York and got me sent to an agency here, and then I moved here. Obviously, I was so poor. Models don't really make that much money. But I actually used to make more money because that was before like social media was like kind of ruined everything.
Interesting.
You know?
Did you have assurances before moving to New York that like you'd be okay?
No. Oh my God, no. I was so broke. It was so funny. I was like, I just hated Boston so much. I was like, Mom, I will literally sleep on the Q train before I move back to Boston. Like, I will figure it out. I lived in a hostel with 13 illegal Russians.
In New York.
Yeah, like in Coney Island. It was crazy, like that area.
You were nearly sex trafficked.
I was proposed to 9 times for green cards. I'm not even. This story sounds like it was made up. It's so insane. But it was like $450 a month for a bunk bed, which is a scam.
Scam. It's a lot of money.
A co-ed situation. And not my room wasn't co-ed, but the apartment was. And then I got myself out of that, and I was slowly working my way.
And you were like getting modeling jobs and stuff?
At first it was slow, and then I started getting into like the beauty circuit, like the cosmetic. Like I was doing a lot of work for like NARS and MAC and like all those makeup companies, and that actually pays like really, really well. And then there was a point where my rate got pretty high, and then I kind of gained some weight. They got upset, and then COVID started, and then it kind of never went back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. The idea of like the like whole weight gain thing is just so insane. Like I know it's a thing, but
yeah.
like,
Well, now it's like inclusive, but it's like so. I still think that they have different girls in different categories. You know what I mean?
right.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Like there's a chance that the inclusive stuff is just going to be a fad.
Yeah.
And before we know it, we'll be back to emaciated, starving youth.
But it's, I mean, I could see like a guy like you in an ad now, like a normal cosmetic guy. Don't you see like men and they're
Really?
like holding like lipsticks? Like on
No,
the
I
train?
haven't seen it.
Do you take the train ever?
I do, yeah.
But like there'll be like a guy and you're like, wait, these are like normal
interesting.
people now.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah, Lynch, maybe.
You're a normal
There's a
person.
future for us, pal. So my friend like owns a modeling management company, and she has given me her cards in the past and is like, if you're in like Oklahoma or wherever doing a gig and you see somebody who you think would be great, give them my card.
Yeah.
I want so badly to be the guy who does that, who changes someone's life. It sounds really exciting.
That's actually so funny.
But I have not yet.
You should.
The card. This is what ends up happening. The cards are very nice, but they sit in my jacket pocket for long enough that they start to get tattered, and I'm kind of like, I need fresh cards to like give.
Yeah, because
to
it's
these
going to look
people.
like you're scamming.
Exactly. They're not going to believe me.
No.
So anyway, okay, that's fascinating. I didn't know any of this about you. I know you've done some acting, etc. So we don't need to get too crazy into the backstory stuff. But so now you, have done quite well for yourself. I would actually describe your rise as meteoric.
Oh my God. Wait, I'm blushing.
Right? Quite quick. She is a person that everybody knows about now, and have kind of like, you started with like a group of people and you have sort of poked your nose out in front of the group, it appears, and are sort of taking your career to the next level, which has been wonderful to see and to watch. Nice to have you here. But I mean, not that long ago, I mean, you were doing like side jobs and shit. Are you still doing that or no? No,
I finally am just doing comedy, but I was like last year I was working at a restaurant I hate serving. Oh my God. It was like my lead. I bartending is like fine, but bartending in the hours, you can't do comedy. Yeah. When did I stop having a side job? Probably like spring of last year. Then I could start doing comedy.
And you've only been doing comedy a few years, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess all in, if we're including if we want to call modeling a parallel job, which is like a stretch, but you know what I mean? Like it's sort of a conduit, a way for you to get here.
I guess like the lack of fear of being seen. I think that's a huge thing with comedy. I mean, obviously you need to have jokes and write, but I think some people like just like being comfortable being watched is like a huge hump that some people need. And I didn't have that, which I think kind of helped, if that makes sense.
You did not have what?
Like when I would get on stage, I was not like, I would get nervous because I want to do well, but I was never nervous of like the act of people sitting and watching and judging.
Right.
You know, which was like, so I just had to start having like the jokes to like match that level of like confidence in a way, you know what I mean? Rather than, I don't know, but modeling is definitely not aligned.
Dude, nothing like rolling out of bed. You got a long day ahead of you, but it doesn't matter because you have all the tools you need to succeed with AG1.
AG1, time to run through the wall of life.
Run through the wall of life.
I wake up, I drink my AG1. I just feel ready to go. It just, it's become a great part of my routine, and it just fills me up with energy. I feel great.
Yeah, dude.
Starting my day after that. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut health support and is backed by multiple research studies so you can trust what you're putting in your body.
Yeah, AG1 is a formula that you can trust because it's backed by research studies, like Lynch said, and experts. Unlike other products, which only test their ingredients in isolation, AG1 tests their formula as a whole. You know, you get out of your body what you put into it, period. And AG1 is a good example of how, you know, having a healthy, solid habit over time can really pay dividends. Especially going into the summer months where I want to be active and feel good. It's just nice to put something good into my body, getting it done.
It does. 91% of participants notice they need less coffee after 60 days of drinking AG1. That's awesome. And AG1 contains ingredients that support sustained energy so you can be the best version of yourself each and every day.
Yeah, if we had to recommend one product to support whole body health, it's AG1. And that's why we are excited to have them as our new partner. Welcome back, AG1. Starting your journey with AG1 is a win. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/oops. That's drinkag1.com/oops. Check it out. Okay, how are you feeling at this exact moment?
In this exact moment, I'm good. Now I'm thinking about money. I'm like, fuck, I gotta get better. You know, it's fine. I think like now I'm getting random like brand deals, which is cool too.
Oh, that's
which
great.
is like alleviates. That's what I like about the social media thing. Even though social media is like it's you're doing the social media thing.
What do you mean?
You're posting and doing it.
Trying.
It takes so much brain energy.
Takes a lot of brain energy.
What about it? Bogs you down the most?
I think it's so different from stand-up. Like what I post and like what does well, I have to like lower my brain. Like what, you know, I have to be like, dating is like, no. But then on stage, I'm completely different than that person. Like that sort of, like what, it's not like what, I don't know. Some people are like, oh, I do my one-liners online and I bring it to the stage and it works. But for me, what works online does not work on the stage at all. It's like stupid stuff.
Right. And the fear is sort of that you'll build up this big following by doing one thing. And then when people come to see your show, it'll be like discordant.
Yeah. Or like, you know, I could focus on content, but then I would become bad at comedy. And then if I focused on, I kind of focus more on comedy, but then it's now like a 24/7, my brain never shuts off type situation of like, what's the next thing? And then you feel good for 1 second when you go viral. And then you're like, is this ever going to happen again? And then you're like, wait, that wasn't even funny. And they're like, am I even funny? Cause I wasn't even funny, but people saw that, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's. And then like, would you have like a schedule? Like, are you attempting to post like X amount of times a week or whatever?
I try to like, if I have one thing that goes viral, I try to like post as much after that. So it's like
Interesting.
that those other things will just like do well. But no, I mean, my manager's like post every day. I'm like, that's just not possible. Cause it'll just start to be like shit. Like I went to the store gay. You know what I mean? It's gonna end up not being a thing. But you know,
It is tough when you post something. It's not going as well as you thought it would, and then you watch it again and you just get filled with shame.
you're like, this is stupid. Why did I think this was funny? I don't know what's funny online. I actually like my brain is broken.
Posting a lot has like not worked for me at all. But and that's not to say that I don't think it's the way. I still do it.
Yeah.
But when I used to not, I would have like incredible engagement constantly. And I know the algorithm has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not, and sorry if this is too much of inside baseball for the people listening, but like now they're like pushing a lot more stuff out than they were before. Before it was like easier to connect with your people, and now it's a little harder. So I still do it, but I'm also kind of like, oh, this is like shit. The optics are terrible. I'm like, half of these things, no one's fucking even watched them at all.
Oh, that's the worst. You feel it's crazy how much it controls your emotions.
Yeah.
When it flops, I want to kill myself. And I'm like, I didn't need to do this to myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm like, everyone saw it. Everyone's going to be like, because I know how comedians are.
Yeah.
Like they talk shit about everyone. So it's like when one person was doing well and another, they're like, oh, they're in their flop era. And I'm like, why did I post that stupid?
Yeah. Well, I think that like the come up era and the flop era can actually happen very quickly.
Yeah.
And many times over a short period of time
That's
at this point.
so true.
You know, you got to kind of sort of talk yourself into trying to be happy as often as possible, but it definitely is an exercise.
That's why you need to have a balance and like date and have a life.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. So you have a boyfriend. A lot of I was doing a deep dive on your Instagram today to sort of be prepared to talk to you about some stuff. A lot of your stuff is about sort of like dating. A lot of it's about like the difference between dating women and men and just like observations that come with all of that kind of stuff. Now, you also said when we walked into the room before, you're like, you know, it can be hard dating as a female comedian for a variety of reasons. Do you believe that the fact that a lot of the content that you're talking about involves dating as well, like from a social media perspective, do you think that makes it even more difficult for you than it does for the average person doing comedy as a female?
I actually think that my Instagram cancels out and is actually less weird because it's now like a persona character. Like he could just like look through my DMs and look through my phone. It like doesn't matter. Versus I feel like if a girl just has like 10K followers and she posts like hot pictures, that's worse than like I'm just so like making up random stories. And he's very aware of that. Like he'll like help me write a story. People will be like, you're gonna be single forever. I'm like, he literally wrote this one. So
Gotcha.
But I think in general, the comedy dating thing is the hours aren't hot. I'm not like around enough. You know, I feel like if you're a cute girl and you're a comedian, you average like you're a 5. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
You know what I mean? It's just not like appealing. It's not really like what a guy's dream is, but he finds it attractive for whatever reason.
I think there's guys out there who are into that. How long have you been dating the guy you're dating?
Literally only a few months, so it hasn't been like that long. But I think he also knew who he had like friends who knew who I was going into. What I actually think helped. Then like you like a girl, and then she's like, "Hey, look, I'm out every night." And
wait, but like you mean it helped that like his like he was proud to like show his boys.
So so he had some friend like when he was like, oh blah blah blah, I'm going on a date with this girl. Obviously, someone like Googled me or whatever the fuck, and then they're like, oh, she's this comedian or whatever. I follow her, and then he went into our first date already knowing who I was, which I think kind of helps.
Agree, definitely.
You know what I mean? Because you're not like
it's cool. It's like whoa, like this person's a thing, and like my friends know about her, and now I'm on a date with her. Like, fun.
Versus like you like a girl, and then you're like, and then she's like, yeah, I have this weird job where I'm like away. You know. So now he's always known me as this. If that makes sense.
Right. It would have been weirder if you were not doing that and then you decided to start doing it while you were dating.
For sure. Or if it wasn't at the level that I'm doing, that I mean not like that sounds weird, but I like as much as I'm doing.
Right.
And then he's like, wait, really?
Right. There's that whole like, and I think that definitely goes both ways where it's like if a person's they're spending all your time doing it, but you're like not making money and you have to do like quote shitty jobs.
Yeah.
Like people can sort of hold that against you.
Yes.
And then it's very easy to sort of be like, well, what if this never works out? You know, it's easy to sort of like destabilize you and make you not believe in yourself.
Yeah.
So it's good to have somebody who believes. But like you also mentioned this, which is interesting. Like the things that a guy gets from being a comedian that are an advantage, a woman doesn't also get when it comes to dating. Like there's something about like being charismatic, like being funny, like as a guy that's like really appealing. So even if like you don't have your shit together or whatever, it doesn't matter. Being a sort of visible female can be very threatening to men.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And they get jealous and possessive and then they try to fucking cut you down or whatever.
Yeah, I've had it so many, because I stopped dating for a while. I actually was, up until this guy, I was celibate for like 9 months. I hadn't had sex with anyone. I was just like so over guys. Also, it's just guys they don't like it, but they also will get jealous because a lot of dudes like want to be comedians in a certain way. Like a lot of the finance bros kind of like they think that they're that
funny
guy.
one.
They want to be like the funny one. They like love a Shane Gillis. They like think that he would love them because they're just as funny, you know?
Right, and it's like cringe.
Yeah, and then me, like I'm this fucking like black girl who like, you know, meets their heroes and they're like, what? You know? So even outside of the schedule, they're just like, what the fuck? You know?
Right. You are a sort of shepherd into the world that they shouldn't have access to. And since they have this tiny peek into it, it can show them a lot about themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting. Well, how many times have you had this happen? You start out with a guy and it's going great and he's like championing you and he's not jealous. But then like as time goes on, he starts to get jealous and becomes that jealous guy.
That's happened many, many times, honestly.
That's such a thing.
Because guys, like, they like the pursuit, and I'm very good at that. Like, kind of, I actually didn't do it this time at all with this guy. I was like very like, oh, I like you too. Like, you don't really have to chase me. But usually, like, I would be like good at the cat and mouse thing, and then it would be like really hot for like a while, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm kind of like over the chase. I really am just really busy, you know? And then they would just be like, oh, well, you can't even fucking come to dinner. You can't even fucking, like, let's just write jokes together, blah, blah, blah. And they would like I could do this. And then they'll like, I've had guys like send me sets and be like, oh, I'm going to go to an open mic.
Oh God.
And I'm like, I know, I actually go to an open mic and I will find you send me the tape, actually record it. And then we could just end a relationship there. But yeah, the resentment, a lot of guys are in their like, effeminate era too. I feel it's just a whole thing.
Tell us more, please.
The
effeminate era of men.
When you get canceled. I think a lot of guys are. I mean, this actually. I'll say this, and then I wonder what you, how you guys would respond. I think a lot of guys are like, "Oh, what does she offer?" You know, and I just think that inherent question is very, like, feminine. You know?
What can he do for me?
No. I'm saying when guys say that about girls. So I think that a guy should naturally, this is why guys have to like be up in order to be like good partners. I feel like for the most part.
What do you mean?
They need to feel like they can like provide, and they need to feel like confident in their, how, like where they are as a man. Cause I've dated like guys in the past that are like, don't know what they're doing with their life, and they're like broke, and they're like insecure, and like they're like moved back with their mom or whatnot. And they're always like the worst partners ever because they don't feel like secure as like a man.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I think that's like a pretty straightforward concept.
Yeah. I've run into like a lot of men, like guy friends specifically, that are like very like, yeah, but what does this girl like offer? And I'm not talking about me, but like girls like that they're talking to. And I don't know. I think that like,
what does that mean though? Like literally just like, what does she quote bring to the table?
yeah, like why should I court her?
Is it the fact that they're asking that question without having anything to offer themselves, or just even the thought of bringing things to the table?
I think a girl has to bring things to the table, but I think that if you have to question whether a girl brings something to the table, like if you're like, oh, I won't, like, okay, like it'll come down to like, do you like paying like the bill? Like, you know, like I believe that guys should like always pay the bill for the most part. You know what I mean? If you're dating them, like if it's a guy friend, like I'll split, I'll pay, I don't care. But I think if it's a guy you're sleeping with, like they pay, you know? But then I have guy friends that are like, okay, but like, what is she offering? I'm like, she's offering you her time and her youth.
What if she's okay? So her being hot and cool is no longer enough in this current man feminine era that you describe.
Yeah,
got it. So the woman has to be providing the man something. Which, okay, so that's what you're saying. So I've just like been out of the game, and I haven't like seen people talking about that. But that's interesting. Is that like a trend?
Yeah, I think like, I mean, I'm pretty Gen Z. I'm like in that age range. So I've just noticed a lot of guys want to do like nothing and just like expect women to just like be with them. Like, and they, you know, they don't, I guess, and then the thing is some women are like kind of down and they'll like fuck around. But all my friends that like fuck around, like all my female friends, they're all so sad.
What do you mean? Like fuck around, like they just like go out and go home with guys and stuff?
Yeah, like the ones that like hook up and like pretend they don't care. They all really care, you know?
Like hot guys with zero ambition.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
So unappealing.
Okay, so hook up meaning like they go on a date and then they go home, or they meet him at a party, in a bar, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or any of those scenarios?
Any of those scenarios, but I would say like they don't have like a real relationship outside of the fact that they hooked up.
And do they think that emotionally they can handle that scenario, but then in reality you find that they cannot?
Yeah, a lot of my female friends.
Like,
they
oh, whatever,
think that
we're
they
just
can.
hooking up.
Yeah, but women and men were so different. It's such a different, because I don't hook up, but I have before, and you're still like, oh my God, I can't believe he literally never texted me again. You know what I mean? Whereas like guys are like, yeah, I really never needed to, you know? Like even my boyfriend now, I did not have sex with him till we started dating. Like till we were official. I was like, I want to have sex with you.
Yeah, I think that we're proponents of that strategy. Not to sound antiquated, but there is something, magic can happen to those who wait, those who are forced to wait, and those who are in charge of making that decision to wait.
Yeah.
Sometimes good things can happen, you know?
Yeah. And then sometimes there'll be a marriage that started and they had like a one night stand.
Yeah, whatever.
And you're like,
all
what?
good.
I see,
It certainly happens.
I see your point, though. A lot of the people out there that are complaining, guys and girls complaining, why isn't he or she texting me back, or any other just like elementary point like that, just means that there's no substance to like the relationship or even maybe the person.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of sad that that's what you're worried about. You should be a little more secure.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay. Yeah.
How old are you?
24.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is good. This transitions nicely into some of the things that I wanted to talk about with you.
Yeah.
You have turned into this Gen Z romance pundit.
Who knows? I might be wrong about fucking everything.
Well, whatever. It's okay. I don't think that there's a right and wrong answer to any of this kind of stuff. So it's all about vibes, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. So going home on the first night in general, what are your, if you had to make a broad statement on that strategy, it's sounding as if you are not a fan of it, but tell us more.
I wouldn't do it. I think like sex, like girls control when sex happens. Like a guy will always have sex, but a girl
unless
is like
a crime is committed.
Yeah,
the girl gets to decide.
Unless a crime is committed, the girl gets to like decide how long or whatnot. And if a guy is not willing to wait, then he'll like leave, or commit a crime. But I would say no. I mean, if you want a relationship, I guess I'm more of like a relationship person because I don't really need sex like that bad. You know what I mean? To like feel bad about it's too short to feel bad about myself. So yeah, definitely not sex on the first night. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Question number 2. And it's sounding as if we're exposing a bit that you are sort of like a bit of a traditionalist when all is said and done, despite, it's sort of like gone far in the Gen Z direction so much that it is now wrapped back into 1961.
Oh my God.
And you are being taken on a date. You will not be paying. And you are controlling the gateway to your body, literally. And so the following question then is, after a date has ended, do you have any sort of rule about whether or not you should be texting first versus them texting, and what the different scenarios might mean?
So it's so funny because I also date women. With women, none of my rules apply. I will pay the bill. I'll split the bill, whatever. I don't
Well, those
care.
are just a different set of rules?
It's a different set of rules because women are different. And like you can have sex with a girl on the first night and that does not, if anything, they like you more. You know what I mean? Like we're very like, emotional and in touch with our like, I don't know, mortality. And I think that's due to like probably our like periods and shit, and aging faster. But but when I'm with a guy, I don't really play a game honestly anymore. Like if I want to text a guy, like I'll text him. If I can tell like he's just being like not very like not responsive, I will obviously like back off. I'm not like stupid.
You can sense it. Okay, this guy's
Guys
guy's a
communicate
clown.
in their actions, not their words. So it's like a guy will show you how he feels about you pretty immediately. You know what I mean? Like you really, it's kind of odd. People try to like, there's so many TikToks of girls like dissecting men. I'm like, if he wants to be with you, he will be with you, or he'll try his best. And if he doesn't, he won't try his best.
Right.
You know?
So going out with girls, Interesting to hear that there's sort of like a whole different set of protocol.
Yeah.
Do you ever date like older girls?
Like a few years older, but not like super old. Not like just because my mom wouldn't want me with a woman that feels like a woman.
Her peer.
Yeah. My mom would like kill me.
From her book club or something.
Yes. Like my ex-girlfriend I dated a girl for like 3.5 years. She's like 27.
Okay.
So but when we started dating, I was like 19. So like at that age, It was a bigger age gap.
As you get older, the age gap sort of
dwindles. Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of closes. That's interesting. Okay, and so you said you sleep together on the first date. That can actually be a good thing, where it makes everybody happier. Is there ever a scenario where you sleep with a girl on the first night and now you you're not that interested? Is the exit strategy more difficult in that scenario?
I think that's more if you sleep with like a straight girl or like a girl who's like questioning, then usually it's like the exit strategy is harder because they're not used to girls.
But aren't they? Is there such a scenario where they might be like ashamed of what they've done and therefore it's easier? Because they're
I guess
I don't usually do this. Can we just be friends? Like
that's happened before where I've hooked up with a straight girl and then she like kind of like ghosts me, even though I wasn't really trying to date, but she was just like erase, control, delete, clear cache. But yeah, I would say like I definitely don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I would not want to hurt a guy's feelings or a girl's feelings. I'm not like I've never been like, oh, I hate men, like fucking fuck his best friend, he fucked you over type person. You know what I mean? Like so I wouldn't, if something didn't work out with a guy or a girl, I would be like respectful in the same way. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm focused on my career. That's what I always say. Meanwhile, I'm like looking for love, All people do, I feel. We lie.
What, as far as what thinking we know what we want?
No, like you'll lie to get out of a situation, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure
I'm not ready for a relationship right now.
Yeah, we all say that. Then why are we dating?
Right.
Why are you?
But that's a good lie because you like don't feel terrible about yourself after saying it because it's half truthful.
It's like relationship with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't you feel that way? Like guys will say that, but ultimately most guys, like if you're on the apps, you kind of do want to find like the person that you want to be with, right? Or are you just on the apps just to fuck?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think that's why everyone has such difficulty dating today.
Yeah.
You can also sort of like categorize the different types of people. So you might be like, well, this person I'm interested in for this reason, and that person I might be interested in for that reason.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a person maybe I could date.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not talking about myself, but I think that could be a general.
I heard of the box theory. Did you guys hear about that? It's like guys immediately know what box they put they would put a girl in. Like it's like, oh, friend, you would sleep with or you would date. Like date, like as in like there's like the sleep date, like whatever you'd see them, whatever. But date as in like you would be in a committed relationship with them, pretty immediately. Do you think it's true?
I don't know. I haven't heard of that.
Maybe. Sounds like there's something there.
I've been off the apps for a while.
Are you in a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
In an 8-year relationship. So I've been off the apps for a while. Is there like when you sign up, can you like when you're going through your preferences, can you set like your intentions? As in, like, I'm looking for a hookup. I'm looking for a friend.
That changed everything.
I'm looking for a
me.
sugar mama or like
Yeah.
a relationship that'll blossom.
You can say that. So I literally changed everything because the last go around, and I wasn't really on apps, but then the last go around, I was like, you know what? Let me just add all the filters of like long-term relationship, all this stuff. Have like less like hot girl photos and more like I'm wholesome, you know what I mean? And it changed. Like I was meeting much better guys and I was getting to that like we're in the 8-9 date zone where like, and I was not fucking any of them at all. And I was like, oh, okay, you just need to be someone, because a guy needs to want a girlfriend. A lot of my girlfriends will try to convince dudes that they want a girlfriend. And I'm like, a guy needs to be like, I want a girlfriend. Are you that girl?
Right.
They need to see that for themselves.
Right. You're not going to show someone that you are in fact the one that's going to change their mind. It's possible, but unlikely.
You also don't want to be the one to change their mind.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, I don't really want this life right now, but like now
But if they've changed their mind, then they now want the life.
Yeah.
You need somebody looking for their girlfriend.
Exactly.
And hoping that they stumble upon you.
Yeah.
Ready to play.
Sometimes there's a chance that guy will be a little more of a fucking simp though. You know what I mean? Which is the risk you run. That's the problem.
I'm
You
okay
want a
with
guy.
simp.
You want the guy with the key. You want a simp. But okay, maybe you like, I think there's also part of the population that like wants a guy like with the killer instinct or whatever, who also is like a good partner or something. Like they're attracted to certain people, can be attracted to qualities with people that they then resent about them, which is the same thing with the slutty photo girl, where it's like, ooh, I want her, she's hot. And then you have her and now you're just threatened the whole time about other people reacting to her the way that you did as well. You know what I mean? Which is complicated.
Yeah.
But you want a nice, simpy, nice man?
Yeah, I mean, not a guy who's like, I control, like not like that, but like a guy who is like, I'm very like, if you don't say or show, I'm not gonna like read your mind. Some girls like that, and some girls try to do that. They try to like dissect, you know, the way that they walked to the bathroom and the way that they like didn't hold you in the morning. I'm not gonna like read that as like a weird thing, but like, so like, I don't know. It's not like I want like a beta guy is my point.
No,
but
I get it.
I want a guy who's like outwardly like, hey, I really like you. I love you a lot. And then I'm like, oh, good, healthy relationship.
Right. That doesn't bore you once you have him. You like the.
I also think maybe it's because of such the chaotic career. I like want something in my life that feels stable. I don't need to come back and be like, oh, who were you out with tonight? Like, were you out with friends? Like, do you even like me? Like, I hate that feeling.
But the man you're describing sounds pretty manly to me. He knows what he wants.
That's true.
He's saying, hey, I want you. I want to provide for you. You'll be mine.
Yeah.
And you won't have to worry. But I love you. I want to be with you.
Yeah. And that's honestly, those are the only kind of guys I entertain. And it was very hard to get to that place because, you know, you get very attracted to like toxic, and because the toxic guys are like, they always feel so good because like they love bomb you and all that stuff.
Right. And you win them, you have them for the moment, and then it's just hard to keep their attention.
It's a competition with like other women and a whole thing. But then it's just like, you never feel good about yourself. You never, like for one moment you do. And then you're like, oh, he's going to cheat on me. He's going to leave me. He's going to blah, 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 blah. But then being with a guy who like is like, I'm sure about you is just like, yeah, I mean, I hope we're together for a long time, but you never know. But like, it's just like, oh, I have peace. Like I don't think about my relationship, which is like the big thing for me.
Like a sensitive guy that isn't afraid to get the server's attention on the first attempt.
Yeah.
Just like, excuse me.
Yeah. So cute.
Very good
So,
lunch.
I don't need a fucking alpha.
That's not that
weirdo.
hard to find.
In New York, yeah. Dating in New York is kind of demonic.
It shouldn't be that
There's
hard
just too
to
many
find.
people. There's always this idea that like you might be leaving something on the table by committing to someone.
Yeah.
So there's 17 million other people not actually.
I feel like guys feel that way more than girls. Or maybe I'm just in that age where I'm like about to be 25 and I'm like, okay, I need to like take it more seriously.
Men here also have like Peter Pan syndrome. Like nobody ever wants to grow up, which you had a clip about talking about Midwestern men.
Oh yeah.
There is this funny thing about like Midwestern guys being a solid candidate. They're like manly. They're like stronger. Like guys here can be kind of like metro. I know that's like an antiquated term that no one uses anymore, but you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
They're like too well manicured and they don't have calluses on their hands and they're not strong. You need a nice corn-fed.
A little rugged.
It's so many.
I got an ingrown nail on my middle right finger.
Say, there you go.
Pretty tough.
Couple cuticles.
Pretty Midwestern vibe.
You guys are Midwestern-ish. You guys are a little bit more rugged.
Hill Dog is Midwestern, and I like the Midwest in general. It's a nice breed of people. They're nice. It's good. No, seriously. Like I like the vibes in general. So yeah.
No, I think that people that are closer to like nature and everything, because New York, everything's like made up. Like these things like don't exist. I don't know. Just like we're like things that a guy who like knows how to like milk a cow and like can hunt his own food.
There aren't that many of those.
Yeah, you're right.
Does your current guy know how to milk a cow?
Probably not. What does he know to do?
Can he milk a nut? Like almond milk?
Honestly, he can. He's an amazing chef.
There.
He can make soy sauce from scratch, but it takes years, but he can.
Well, this is good. It's a good quality to be able to create things like this for the household.
Yeah.
Is he a chef by trade?
He was gone to culinary school briefly. He's in tech. He works in tech.
Okay.
He's had a lot of things. He used to work at William Morris briefly but he's very creative.
Is he older?
No, he's 26.
Okay.
He had a health problem, which I think actually helped. I'm trying to work on a bit about this, but he had like a random seizure and they found 2 brain tumors.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they're benign, but I think that the whole experience probably made him a little bit more of like a
Let's do it. Life isn't forever.
yeah, and I think that a lot of guys need to experience something like that. Like a near-death experience, you know, like if he has a stroke, like he'll take care of you.
Have you had any NDEs, Lynch?
Any what?
Near-death experiences?
I almost drowned when I was little. Too little to remember that.
But maybe it's settled.
I don't
something
know.
in
I've
your
had to
soul.
get polyps removed from my butt a couple
What
times
is
now.
that?
Polyps that could like turn into colon cancer.
Oh shit.
I've had
Similar
to
story to what you're talking
I've had to get them removed twice. I think that's gonna be like that's my journey now. I have to do it like all the time. And like one day they could tell me like there's cancer and it's happening. So
Wow.
Lynch is
I
living
kind
in
of
shared time.
I've been like on the edge of my seat.
How did you find
No,
that? LOL.
no pun intended. My whole life.
Wait, how did you find the thingies?
I was in college.
Like, wait a minute.
I was in college. I think I was 23 at the time. I was taking a shower. I was like cleaning my bum and I felt a bump. And so I called my buddy over. I bent over, I spread my cheeks and I was like, do you see anything weird? Like this feels weird. And he was like, you got to get that checked out.
did it
It
look
was
like?
showing.
It was out. It was protruding.
But did you think maybe it was a hemorrhoid?
I didn't even know what that was at the time. I thought it was a pimple maybe. I thought it was maybe an ingrown hair. It's disgusting, but this is my life. I go see a doctor and without him even looking at it, he's like, yeah, we're going to go remove that.
Oh my god.
And so I had to syringe in the fetal position laxatives through a funnel in my butt. My butt went twice.
Oh, you have to shit a lot before you remove
Yes.
it?
And it literally, like, I'm like in the fetal position, doggy style up, like glucking this fluid in my butt, go to the bathroom, get the procedure. They remove it. It's not a big deal. But
You're
I had to do
awake
it a
for
sec.
that.
I'm out.
Okay.
They knock me out. So they go in, they cut it off, they burn so it heals and scabs, and then so that scares me. That's my thing. Like that's
Is
my
it running your family?
I think my grandfather died of pancreatic cancer or colon cancer. I don't know. I gotta be on top of this the rest of my life. And
Oh
this
my
is like
God.
it is my like whenever I go in, I don't think about it, but when I'm on the procedure table, that's when I start thinking like, yo, you only got one life. Like
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
And you've been in a relationship for 8 years.
yeah. So I guess everyone needs to get some polyps.
No, dudes. I feel like dudes need an experience like that.
Are there any lifestyle changes that they recommend to try
Greens,
like
like
high
eating greens?
fiber
Sit
diet?
less. Sit less.
Really?
less.
Yeah, I have a standing desk. I never
Are you
use
serious?
I never use the standing feature. I have a standing
Wait,
desk.
why? Because of the sweat and stuff that
I think
builds?
just sitting. I don't think the way I'm sitting right now is correct. I can
For
feel
you-
like
for you.
I can feel like my
You
bone.
feel the polyps forming.
No, you can't feel them. It just sucks. I could, if you want me to be real, I could get real gross and tell you exactly what it feels like if you really want me to paint
when
the
it's
picture.
growing?
No, like what it feels like to have them.
What does it feel like?
Maybe we can cut this. You know the Play-Doh machine. You know those Play-Doh machines
Yes, I know exactly
where
what
you
you're talking
can
about
put
already.
those stencils in, and
they
when you
come
push
out?
them in, and they come out like in the shapes of stars and stuff.
Yeah.
Bloop.
So like the normal butthole is like a circle. Mine, when these polyps come through, is kind of like a circle with a tiny little bite out of it, like you're a nibble out of a cookie.
Oh, God.
And my shit comes out
A half moon.
and that shape
Oh,
because
shit.
there's something in my colon.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what gets me out of bed.
Yeah, yeah. You don't work out of spite. You work out of fucking fear of colon cancer polyp.
Yeah.
All right. Trigger warning, by the way, everybody, in case anybody has some sort of surgery or whatever thing. You just put that before.
Yeah.
We'll keep it in, though. Unless
Yeah.
you decide you get self-conscious.
No, I'm not. It's my life.
Well, yeah. So anyway, guys.
Yeah, have you had a moment like that? That's a really good question. That's
See,
a good
I'm-
point. That's a good point.
yeah.
Because I didn't even think about that. That was all subconscious until you brought that up. Your boyfriend having the seizure.
It's like men like in their 40s just like jizzing in any young girl and then like treating her like shit. I'm like, I feel like you're not in touch with the fact that she's a human, you're a human, you're gonna die.
That's the thing. Like these girls, are going on dates with like random 40-year-old fuckboys.
I mean, I used to do it. I wouldn't necessarily fuck them, but like men that I was just like, I didn't grow up with a dad, so I had like problems with that stuff. And I had to sit down with myself and be like, okay, this is not, he doesn't love you. This is just like a weird man child with money, blah, 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 blah. But then after I started dating better men that were like younger, I was like, oh, these guys are like bad people. Like something bad needs to happen to them for them to like be like, oh, my impact on humanity is like kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Like,
It's twisted, but I get that 100%.
I guess I get the idea
get
of
it.
it. I mean, I always,
It's karma. It's like a karma thing.
Yeah. Like I was like 19. I remember I was dating like a fucking 50-year-old nearly. He was 48. And I like thought it was okay. Like, because I was and I was like, oh my God.
this is like hashtag model life.
Yeah,
Just meeting like
kinda.
older dudes and shit.
But then they're like very like, I'm your boyfriend. Let me look through your phone. And I'm like, you're literally like older than my mom.
It's really cringe to see like a dude that old be in too deep and like lose his dignity to over some like girl who's so young who doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And be
He's like,
insecure
"You
about
you
it.
said
Let me
you
look
were
through your
here."
phone.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You said you said.
Isn't that crazy? Like these men are literally like that.
It's really cringe.
That's scary. It seems like they're like powerful people too. Like,
Yeah.
You don't know. They're so much older than you. You don't
Yeah.
even know what they have access to.
For sure. That was actually my biggest fear. I was like, some of these guys have so much money, like they could just make me disappear.
Yeah. It's like
No one
giving
would.
Succession, like that level of power.
Yeah. Yeah. I dated one guy who was like around that, like, and it was just, oh my God. It was just, I obviously won't talk too much about him, but I was like, this is scary. It is not worth the potential Birkin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at all. Because I'm like, I could die. Also, this is not love. And then I was like, okay, I really don't care about materialistic things. I just honestly want a guy who, I don't even care about the money. It's more like a guy that wants to take care of me. You know what I mean? And I feel like guys who want to take care of you are usually the guys that can, if that makes sense. Sorry, that was a tangent. But
Well, I think it has to make sense
yeah.
because they wouldn't if they couldn't.
Yeah.
Right. But a guy who can won't always necessarily.
Exactly.
So it's nice to find the
scale.
one who will. Yeah.
Like they don't have to have that much money, but if like what they have, they, you know, wanted to, and I do, some guys are different. Like he likes that I work a lot. Like some guys, I mean, he doesn't want me to work. Like, not like he doesn't want me to do comedy, but he doesn't want me to have to work for money, if that makes sense. But he,
It's nice.
you know, what were you saying though?
I don't know. I think you
You were
can keep
saying
going.
something.
You can keep going. No.
That should end tomorrow, our relationship.
No. Well, keep us posted. I mean, hopefully it won't. It sounds like you guys got a good thing going.
He's a sweetie.
So that's good.
And it's just so hard to date. Or actually, I'm going away for like a couple weeks, so I hope that that's like fine.
With him.
No, I mean when we're going on the road.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I
mentioned
mean?
that.
Because then you're just with random people. But
So, okay. So you guys have been together for a few months, you said.
Yeah.
Is that 2 or 4 or 3 or
4.
Okay.
So, but it moved fast, but not love bomby fast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 4 months is too long for that.
Yeah.
For the love bombing. That term, I realized that I was a love bomber before that term existed, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that it did not exist because I didn't think I was doing anything wrong when I was doing it. But I realize now that it was not a
Did
nice
you love
way.
bomb Hillary?
No.
Okay.
Well, I was attempting to.
Yeah.
And she was sort of like not allowing it to work, which was effective.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I was like actually love bombing, but I like came in super hot. But like leading up to that had sort of been my technique
Yeah.
for like the previous couple years. But I sort of like shifted techniques. Like before that, I sort of would let people come on to me, and then it would be all exciting. But then I realized that that was sort of a bad dynamic for whatever reason. It
Yeah.
like didn't end up working. Like it would always sort of shift. Like this person came on super hard to me, and then once I was interested and they had like gotten me.
Yeah, that's a switcheroo.
The switcheroo, which is almost sort of what you're talking about. I sort of was the pioneer of the effeminate male, right? It's
Yeah,
like
you were getting pursued.
it's the opposite of what it is traditionally, where I'm the one being pursued, and I sort of like that. And then I turned into this like coming in so hot guy,
Yeah.
which
But
was
did-
not frowned upon
Were you
at the
doing
time.
that when you were getting more success though?
No, I was like not successful at all. Like I've had like interesting ups and downs. Like I kind of started doing really well and then sort of continued to progress as a comedian, but like had a few like years where I barely made any money and was like doing other jobs. So I went from being like full time to then having like 5 years after that where I had to do side jobs,
Yeah.
which was like kind of hard. But
Yeah.
you sort of get used to it.
Yeah.
So no, it was not. It was like in the absence of success, I was just this Mr. Romance.
Yeah.
But you kind of learned in a smaller tiered form of that karmic realization.
Not even.
You
bro.
get what I was going on with
symbiotic
that.
with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. I don't know
Karma
that it
is
worked for me
real.
though.
What?
Like so, but no, I wasn't like penalized for my behavior.
No, but you got it was like a little zap, just like a little zap of just like, oh, maybe not.
No, I only realized it was wrong when the term started to become pervasive. Before
Oh.
that, I couldn't like. I wouldn't have been able to like understand that what I was doing was a phenomenon. I thought that it was unique to my like game, and I believed it while I was doing it. That's the thing that's fucked up about it. Like I was like, oh, I'm really into this person, and then if it would work, and then suddenly I wasn't interested anymore.
Did you ever pin like this is why I'm not interested in them, or were you just like I don't really care anymore?
No, I was just what gave me comfort was like I'm not into it anymore. We both have to decide we're into it. That's what a relationship is.
Yeah.
If I'm not into it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just not into it.
Would these be like long-term things?
No,
Okay.
it was like short.
Yeah.
Usually.
It's interesting you bring up discovering love bombing, because imagine how many relationships blew up when the concept gaslighting came to light.
Oh my God.
Because that, like, so many people are like, wait a minute, that's my life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's been my life for 30 years. I didn't know that was a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. Once that
All the people
popped into the
exposed.
zeitgeist, that was helpful too, because that was a technique also that was like easy to just use if
Yeah.
you needed to until it was like labeled and in front of your face. Because it's not a new term. It's been around forever, but like people didn't use it the way they use it now.
Yeah. The accountability and all that stuff.
Yeah. And like you basically in a scenario like this, in theory, you come in hot,
Yeah.
then you cool off. And now you're mad at me for cooling off. What the fuck? And then I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. I know.
That is
exactly
a
what you mean.
classic gaslighting scenario in that
Yeah.
situation. You wait for them to blow up and then you can act like they were
Well,
weird.
that's usually like dating a narcissist too.
That scenario?
Yeah, like a narcissist, they do that. They come in hot, and then they'll usually go through a period of devaluation, where like they're slowly devaluing you, but you're not really aware of it. And then it's actually dating someone with like borderline personality disorder, which I've done. So like they're amazing, like the best ever. And then for whatever, they might feel like you're gonna leave them, so they do this like devaluation thing where they're slowly devaluing you, and then they'll just like abruptly leave.
They think you're going to leave them?
So you'll trigger some sort of abandonment by like it doesn't even have to be like a real thing. It could be like, oh, like maybe like one night a week I'm going to stay at my place or whatever the fuck. And then
Wait, what kind of person are you talking about? Like narcissist,
Someone
like
with-
who's this person?
someone with borderline personality
Got it,
disorder.
got it.
Have you ever dated someone like that?
I know people like that because there's so many comedians that are like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've dated. No, I have dated with somebody like that actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like, cause like the way that they leave you feels so emotionless. Have you ever been dumped by someone like that?
Yeah.
It's like, are you like, they can't even like form the emotion. And
Yeah, and then like the explanation that you are so owed,
Yeah.
they just can't even be bothered.
Exactly.
You're so annoying.
Yeah.
Like, ew.
Yeah.
Like if you want me to even like look at you again, stop talking.
Yeah, exactly. But that to get to that place, they've been like slowly devaluing you over the course of like weeks or a couple months.
And then once you like fully move on, they feel it and they like throw the hook back
Yes.
out and they
Yeah.
catch you again slowly.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's a terrible sort of trend because you know that once they get you fully in, the same exact thing is going to happen.
Exactly.
Typically, that can be a thing for anybody considering trying something with somebody again. Think about the reason why it ended. And if it seems like that will be the likely scenario again, it's not worth trying.
Yeah. Taking breaks too, that didn't just break up, I feel. Have you guys taken breaks?
No.
I will say this. The break can sort of be like when you have somebody who's in the hospital in your family or something dying and they don't tell you the first day they're dying. They act like they're going through the motion. I don't know if that's a thing. I think it is. They like know what's happening and they're sort of grooming you for this really difficult conversation, but it's like a practice. It's a good thing. I feel the same way with a break.
Okay.
Let's take a break. You know it's over maybe, but it's like an easier way to like step in that direction than just being like, we're done. I'm never talking to you again.
Have you guys done breaks though with like your like
No, not with Hilda.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And that's when you
So I'm saying breaks, yeah, they're tough.
yeah. And
Tough
they
to bounce back
don't
from.
it's like why? Because it's like you're gonna break and then get back together and spend the rest of your life with each other. Like, come on.
But I think the person who administers the break, I think it's like a humane practice because maybe you're like, I know I don't want to be in this.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a chance that maybe who knows the break will do something, even though I know it won't.
Yeah. That's true. Also, men, I feel like you guys fall in love in the absence of the woman. Like in the sense of like when you're like, I don't know, I feel like when a guy starts talking to a girl and then whatever, they're around her a lot and then they leave or whatever, they have time apart. That's when guys are like, oh wait, like I kind of miss her. Like I kind of give a fuck. Versus I feel like women like will fall in love like with you around.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that way?
It's like a snuggle, like just like a
Yeah, like
I
women
love
were
being
like, oh
here
my
with
God,
you.
love me right now. And then, but you guys would be like with your boys and you're like, oh, I can't stop thinking about Hillary, like, damn. And then you're like, you know what I mean? Or am I just?
No, I think I know what you mean. I don't know that it's like exclusive, but
Yeah.
like I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where if one were to fuck up, they realize how much they.
Yeah.
I guess your girl could feel that way too, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. Like for you guys are both in long-term relationships. Did you know immediately that this was like it for you?
I didn't. It was just I was just enjoying hanging out with this person.
Yeah.
I sort of was sure.
Like how soon?
Very soon. But like it was sort of in line with my behavior around that time. Where like I might have been able to say that about somebody else too.
That's what I was saying though.
But yeah, there were things about her, like, not to be weird, but like physically, I knew that she like fit the bill of what I knew I wanted.
Yeah.
Whereas, say, like in my 20s, I was sort of like not sure about that. Or I'd be like, I think I like this. I think I like that. I think I like this. I think I like that. After all of this sort of sample taking, I've landed on sort of her look. So I was like, okay, I know that. And based on that alone,
yeah,
and our
visual.
banter
Men
and stuff.
need that though.
Yeah, that's the start, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know. And then we hung out a few times, and then I remember saying it to one of my friends. I was like, "Good to marry her."
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it all started to just sort of make sense as we started to get to know each other and stuff. It just was a good vibe. It was a good fit.
How soon until you guys moved in with each other?
It took a while. I mean, we started seeing each other in, probably about 3 years. Until we moved in, 3-ish years. And up until then, I mean, we took it pretty slow.
Yeah.
I wanted to move fast, and she was like making me slow down. So probably, we were seeing each other probably for like 4 or 5 months before we started being like boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. And then kind of just progressed from there. Are
That's
you
amazing.
guys are like exclusive now?
Yeah, but I was also dating other people when we started dating. And I was like gonna date one of these guys. I was like that one of them was gonna be my boyfriend, and then he kind of swept in, and then I was like, okay. And
So
then
he was just he entered the chat.
He was like, I was not like exclusive with either of these guys, but one of them I would like. They both were like, oh, I want to be serious, and then I was like, okay, I'll date one. I mean, I don't know which one. I was still figuring it out. And then he came in. And so when I first started seeing him, I had zero interest, like, because I was like, oh, I'm going to date another dude. Like, I don't care. But then he like started making me laugh. And I was like, oh, that's different. Like, these other guys are great, but they don't really make me laugh. He came in with the comedy. And
That's
then,
a popular.
Oh, my God. It's so hot. But it's not
personality
hot when
trait.
I do it. It's hot when a guy when I do it, it's cringe.
Well, it actually is harder because you have, a developed sense of humor now,
Yeah.
being a comedian. So it must be harder for a person to be funny to you.
Oh, it's so, well, also it's just like, I know I'm around like so many funny guys all the time. So even though I'm not like dating them, I'm around like the funniest men in the world. So then when a guy tries to be funny, I'm like, I get the ick. I'm like, you could just call like a guy friend, like right now, any comedian, and they'll make me laugh. Cause I just like love being around funny people in general. But then guys try to be that guy. And I'm like, you can't, you can love me in all the other ways, but just the humor thing, it's just not going to hit where the other men in my life will, which sounds so gross. I mean, sad for them, but you know what I mean?
Do you ever bring him around? Like,
This guy, I
comedians?
actually have.
I mean, whoever. Like, I just picture it being a tough like task for like one of your boyfriends to be like sitting with like Derek and Gio, who are like gonna bust his fucking balls, and like if you could see him not be able to hang,
and then I would get
that might be hard for you.
I'd be like, ew, be a man.
Feels high stakes.
Yeah, it is. I brought one guy to the stand once, and it was a very overstimulating night because a lot of people were there. It was so one of those nights where like everyone's there, and I was like, what's going on? And then I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad. And then I remember I was talking to Adele, and he comes over like whining to me, and he was like, I want to go. And I was like, okay, do you want to like leave in 5? And he was like, oh, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, let's just leave in 5. And he was like, okay, can I just sit with you guys? It was so awkward. And Adele was like, we were like splitting, like we were having champagne, like just having like a glass, definitely girl talk, like read the room. You know what I mean? And he was like whining, like he was like, oh, I'll just sit with you guys. And then Adele looks at him like, who the fuck are you?
Can I have a hug?
Yeah, it was like that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm kidding. I was like, please just read right now. I can't.
Oh my
and I was like,
God.
why don't you go sit right there? I like said that.
You put him in timeout?
Yeah, and then he was like, fine.
Put him in cute
So
little
awkward.
timeout?
That was the last time I ever saw him because I ended things. Because also he he was like spending money on all my random friends, which was like fine. I did not ask for that. And then he didn't get me an Uber home. And I was like, you can't spend money on all my friends and then not offer me a car home.
That's inconsistent.
That sounds like a mess of a person.
This is old dude behavior. He's tired. He's paying for everybody. You know, this is like old ass dude behavior, bro.
Got a heartburn.
Yeah, he got heartburn. He was like,
You said you were with your friends.
yeah.
He's low key 50.
Yeah.
No, literally, I used to love that. Oh my god! But 26-year-old, that's crazy. That's so young. That's why. But if he was 26 without a brain tumor, he probably would suck.
Or polyps in his
Or
ass.
polyps. You know, they're benign. They're benign tumors.
For now.
For now. I'll remind him sometimes. I'm like, yeah, right. I would be a great mother. Right? No wood in this nice house.
Mother Sienna. Well, Sienna, this is great. Eye-opening conversation and a portal into the Gen Z sensibility, which is always important for an older fellow like myself to keep up. Thanks for coming on the show. Do you have any shows coming up or anything you want to promote?
This comes out when? Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
I think that's the 20th.
Okay.
That is exactly when.
I'll be like on the road in July. So just if you follow me, Sienna Hubert-Ross on all the things, you'll see. Yeah.
Sienna Hubert-Ross and all the things. Lynch.
Ron is really polite. Send us emails at oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Send us your turkeys, your stories, your grievances. And
Cool. Yeah, I have a one-nighter at the Stand on July 18th. That'll be fun. Come out to that. Then I'm doing Ice House in Pasadena the 3rd of August, and Coastal Creative, St. Pete, Florida, 20th to 21st of September. At Not Julio G on Snapchat and TikTok. Thank you. Goodbye.